Hello darlings, how the devil are you? It is Dom here, and I've got a game for you to put on your radar because I think this one could actually be quite special. It's called Atomic Heart and it's made by Mundfish. And when I first looked into this, I thought, well, it's kind of like your usual dystopian future. There's robots everywhere and that's what you're going to be fighting. But as you dig more into it, you actually realise that this has got an actual really good horror vein running all the way through it. And if I was to say it's a mixture of different games, then I would probably say it's Prey, The Evil Within, and Bioshock. And to be honest, at the moment, in the current market, there is, I think personally, there's a real hunger for good single-player FPS games, especially in that horror vein. And I know a lot of people say, well, Dom, there's Dying Light 2 out at the moment, but aside that, I can't really think or remember the last time that, a good horror first-person shooter was actually out, aside Resident Evil. And even though Resident Evil is a horror game, I wouldn't say it kind of captured the same magic that Bioshock did, for example. And Bioshock came out in 2013, so it's been a few years since we've had something of that type. But either way, I don't want to be unfair on this game because I don't think it's fair to say, it's just a combination of the three games, because it has its own unique elements and you don't really need to go look into the footage too far to realise that there's been a tremendous amount of effort into this, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, so yeah, Atomic Heart, it's an open world game, it's an RPG, and it's set in an alternate universe of the Soviet Union. Essentially, you play this person called P3, and you are a special KGB unit. And all sorts of chaos and mayhem basically gets unleashed when you go to this place called Facility Number 3826. Now, there isn't a release date for this yet so far, but having a look at the gameplay footage, you can get an idea of how far it's come along, because it looks fabulous. And the general gist I get from the gameplay is it is an action horror. So the main two types of horror that it kind of steers into is, one, you have kind of like that future dystopian kind of robotic cyber element to it. And then for the Resident Evil fans, they've got that bio horror with like mutant enemies and, mutated people, and they've been infected with what's like some sort of virus. The kind of enemy you just want to keep, about 300 meters away from you. Now, in terms of weaponry, it looks like there's a great big vast array of them as well. I've seen things from shotguns to pistols to some sort of like Tesla weapon as well. But what was also really nice to see was the fact that there was an emphasis on melee weapons. And if you have a look at the melee weapon, you can obviously see that it's upgradable and you can get it to do different things. Because it starts off as like it's just a pole with like a single disc on it, and later on you can see it with like two saw blades on it, and then there's an upgrade with like weird tentacle prongs on it as well. And this ties in nicely with what the devs have been saying about the upgrade system, because they're saying that there's over 30 melee and ranged weapons that you can upgrade and tweak around with. Additionally, on top of that, you can also tweak the ammo to do different things. What they are, we don't currently know, but that does kind of tie in nicely with the fact that it's open world and you'll be able to pick up different items and then build a weapon around your playstyle or whatever you need to kill the enemies with. Now, in terms of Bioshocky elements, it does look like one of your hands has some sort of like weird wires that come out of it, and you can also use some like psychic powers by lifting people up and holding them in the air. In terms of how many different powers there are, I don't have a clue. I only saw one where kind of like you're holding a robot thing up in the air. But I'm guessing by the fact that you also heal through this hand, because there's like a little cartridge and these tentacles come out and it was sucking something out, and I'm guessing that's the healing mechanic, that there are going to be a multitude of things that you can do with your spare hand while you've got the other one on your weapon. There also looks like to be some driving elements in there. Again, open world game that they've said. You can see yourself driving along. There's robots coming at you. There's big flying robots coming at you. So I'm really excited to see their interpretation and how they've gone about, creating these big open worlds. And hopefully we'll get some unique ideas when it comes to like a new open world game. But in terms of stylism, it looks absolutely beautiful. It's kind of got this terrifying 60s look to it. There's a whole plethora of different robots that have their own different styles to them. Some of them look like they've been taken from the Iron Giant, while other ones just look like they've been ripped out of like, the old school UFO book. And I'm completely okay with that because it looks really, really good. And I can't say that I've ever played a game that looks anything like this. For all those who are interested as well, this is developed in the Unreal 4 engine. And in terms of releases, it's coming out on PS5, PS4, the Xbox Series X and S, the Xbox One, PC, but not the Switch. But yeah, let me know what you think of this game. Take a look at the video and the screenshots on mundfish.com. They've got loads and loads of pretty pictures for you to go through. And if there's enough interest in this video, I will go through it with a more finer tooth comb and pull out, some additional details, because I didn't cover everything, and give you a little bit more to get excited about. Anyway, I hope everyone's well. Have a great week. And as always, I shall be back with more news and reviews soon.